Woody, KB, Pablo, an esteemed national panel. Welcome home, Pablo. Today, Gridiron Life begins with our scholastic heroes. College football is back. Plus, feisty verbal sparring from AD. And the Raiders on the horn discussing Khalil Mack. On the horn, let's go round the horn.
Oh, I saw what she did there. I saw it. So
no bonus points yet, anyone.
We're also the black
I can't be buttered up.
It's Around the Horn, the show of competitive banter.
Get your pimento cheese ready because it's time for Saturday tailgates. The college football season kicks off in earnest tonight with ranked squad and still undefeated Central Florida in action, as well as Purdue Northwestern, plus some heavyweights going at it on Saturday. We've got familiar faces in new places, Chip Kelly at UCLA, Jimbo Fisher in College Station, and some old reliables at the top of the rankings. Third year in a row, Alabama and Clemson go 1-2 in the coaches' poll. I am Kate Fagan, sitting in again for Tony Reale. Bill, is it okay we have Goliath and Goliath going 1-2 again?
Am I the only one who's sick of this? Alabama and Clemson for a fourth straight year. It's unbelievable. It's not good for college football. And it's almost like, and if you look at their schedules, those two are going to be back they could play in the playoffs for the fourth straight year. There's 4 playoff spots. They're going to get 2 of them. I can tell you right now, that's what's going to happen, the way the schedule, the way the teams are. And that's not good for the football. We need a Wisconsin. We need a TCU. We need a FAU. We need Lane Kiffin back in there. We need anybody in there to change the narrative. I just don't think in a sport where parity and every week is supposed to be like a playoff week, every week seems like the same old story when it's Alabama and Clemson. I'm tired of it.
Same old, Woody?
Well, first of all, we don't want Lane Kiffin anywhere near the national championship again.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
And yes, Bill, you're absolutely right. You know, I got so tired of seeing UCLA and USC be relevant in college football, so I wanted to get over that. Yeah, how is it without them?
Okay.
What's wrong with it? If these are the best teams in the country, that's what we want to see. I mean, do you really want to see West Dakota State in the Final Four? No, I want to see the Alabamas, the Oklahomas, the Penn States, the Washingtons. I think these teams that have established their programs that are top drawer, high quality, they have a deserved right to be at the top. So I'm all about it. That, as you pointed out, every week we get to see Auburn play Washington. We get to see Notre Dame playing at home against a top 10 type team. I love those games.
You same enthusiasm over Goliaths here?
I'm not worried about this Goliath thing, just like Bill wasn't worried about Lakers Celtics all those years either, right?
Okay,
and I don't know where West Dakota State is, but I feel you. I feel you, Woody. Look, there are a lot of teams that are coming in this year. There's a lot of diversity below those top 2 teams. Miami, what are they going to do this year? Michigan State, a team that is bringing back 19 starters from a season ago. So there's always going to be somebody in the mix, and some star player or some star quarterback will reveal himself during the season, and go UNU, which is going on tonight with Purdue. So I like this, somebody to try and knock the top dog off the throne.
You're a Goliath now, Pablo. Are you going to defend them?
Kate, I am a Goliath that made his bones as a David. I believe the reason I hold the worst, lowest point scored records on this show is because I love Cinderella so much. So yes, I do want a Cinderella at some point in that playoff field, but let's not forget that we had Alabama and Georgia, both in the same conference. Remember how Clemson in the national title game last year, and everybody theoretically could have made complaints. Man, this seems like a terrible outcome. The game was one of the best games we've ever seen. If Clemson and Alabama, as they did the year before that, deliver the product we all want, all of this will seem so quaint when we look back on it.
Bill, what team are you focusing on to deliver that product?
I'll do better than that. This will surprise you. The Pac-12 Conference. Focusing on it. Herm Edwards at Arizona State.
I'm shocked.
Chip Kelly at UCLA. JT Daniels, new quarterback at USC. Washington's going to be in the mix. Pac-12 is going to be exciting, innovative, energetic.
Woody.
Yeah, I think Colorado is a team you have to focus on. Kate, would you agree with me there? And also, I just want to say this. I think you focus on the coaches who played or coached under Nick Saban and see which one of them this year is going to be in the national championship game. Tends to happen every year.
All right, Woody, thank you for mentioning my alma mater. One more point. All right. The Oakland Raiders have reportedly kicked the tires on the trade market for 2016 Defensive Player of the Year, Khalil Mack, who is in a contract standoff with the team. The Raiders have reportedly set the asking price at 2 first-round picks. The defensive end is scheduled to make $13.8 million this year, the last of his rookie deal, but has already incurred massive fines holding out for a big money extension. Woody, what's your reaction to how the Raiders are handling this?
They have messed this up so badly. You got Gruden coming back in the league. He's got to prove that either he's a former Super Bowl coach, as he was, or the guy that finished his NFL career as an under 500 coach. And he's got to be relevant this year, as we talked about in the previous segment. And you want to be relevant without one of the best defensive players in all of football. 2 years ago, he was selected to the first All-Pro team at two different positions, linebacker and defensive end. And what are you going to get if you get 2 first-round draft choices? Are they going to help you this year? No. Nobody's going to pay you 2 first-round draft choices and then have to pay him $20 million a year. Von Miller got 20 a couple of years ago, and he's paying off. I think it makes sense. Get this over with by Labor Day, or you're going to be a team that is going to be just as bad as it was last year without Gruden.
You understand this standoff from the Raiders' perspective, KB?
Not at all. The problem here is that what held the Raiders back last year was their defense. 23 and 26 when you look at stopping the run and stopping the pass. And so John Gruden recognized that as soon as he took over the team. He said they got to get better defensively. So how in the world do you get better defensively by not signing arguably one of the best defensive player in football in Khalil Mack, a guy who's been a 3-time Pro Bowler, who's been Defensive Player of the Year. It seems to me that you want to lock him down right now because as an edge rusher, he helps your pass defense because he can get to the passer, and as a great guy that the offensive lines have to team up against, he helps you in stopping the run.
Pablo.
What Woody was saying about Gruden needing to establish himself may partially explain what we're seeing. It just explains it in the opposite direction. John Gruden is confusing me because he is treating Khalil Mack like the bully he needs to stand up to as opposed to the friend he needs to make. And John Gruden, if he believes this, he's right. Yeah, the Raiders defense with Khalil Mack wasn't that good. But now if you're trying to do this thing where you're trying to get 2 first-round picks, which is very, very rich for anyone's blood in the NFL today, and you're simultaneously not talking to the guy, do you think teams are looking at your situation and thinking, oh man, that must be a player they really prize? It seems like he's trying to upgrade his value while simultaneously signaling that he doesn't really care for the guy as a player, which is very, very illogical.
Bill.
Pablo, I'm going to go even in the opposite direction of you. I think Khalil Mack is waiting for Aaron Donald to sign. And he's going to sign. Everybody out here says Aaron Donald's going to sign in the next couple of days. Sources are saying that. Everybody's clear. I think then the market will be set. Aaron Donald, by the way, KB, is the best defensive player in football, not Khalil Mack. But Khalil Mack's going to see what he signs for. Then I think the Raiders, they're not that dumb. They're going to get him in. They're going to get him signed. They're moving to Vegas in 2 years. They're trying to sell tickets. They're trying to build his new stadium. They're trying to build a new coach. They're not, I'm telling you, they're not as dumb as everyone thinks they are. Khalil Mack is waiting. His people are waiting to see what Aaron Donald gets. Then he's going to come in and sign. That's my prediction.
Well, we'll see if that's the case. But, you know, the other thing people are saying is that Davis is one of the cash-poor owners in the NFL. And maybe he's not stepping up to the plate because he can't step up to the plate.
Ooh.
So, yesterday, the Jets traded quarterback Teddy Bridgewater and a 2019 6th-round pick to the Saints for their 2019 3rd-round pick. The Jets' move has been feted. Can't believe how smart the Jets look. One of the shooter moves of the offseason. A really good return. KB, how would you describe this move by the Jets?
Well, I guess any news is good news for the Jets when it looks like it's in your favor. But the only thing I would say is that, as far as I'm concerned, the jury is still out. I mean, you've got a rookie quarterback who you drafted number 1, so obviously you have to start him. But until we see whether or not Sam Darnold can live up to Tony Romo hype during the regular season, it's still a little dicey to me getting rid of a 25-year-old quarterback who only lost his starting job in the NFL because of injury.
Woody.
Well, you saw in that video, Joe Namath, this is going to be the first time I've ever used the words brilliant and Jets in the same sentence since Joe Namath retired. I mean, this was a great move. You paid $1 million to move up from a 6th-round pick to a 3rd-round pick, and you got as much as you possibly could out of Teddy Bridgewater. He wasn't going to start there. They've got the 2 quarterbacks. They got the veteran who's a player coach in McCowan, and they've got the young man that's going to be the star this year. They're not going to win anything, so why not go with the rookie ready and have somebody mentor him from the sidelines. They don't need three. No team really needs three quarterbacks. They need two good quarterbacks, and the Jets have it. So I thought that was a brilliant move to bring him in, showcase him, let him be a part of the process, and then move him on to the Saints. Good idea.
All right. Brilliance for paying $1 million to move from 6th round to 3rd round. Pablo, yes?
A 3rd-round pick is a big deal. Jimmy Garoppolo famously, of course, fetched a 2nd-rounder. Teddy Bridgewater getting a 3rd. Pretty good, I must admit. But here's the thing people forget about Teddy Bridgewater. He is 25 years old. He is younger by months than Dak Prescott. I'm not saying that Sam Darnold isn't the answer in New York. I'm just saying that what if it turns out that the guy who we last saw healthy led his team to a playoff berth and was pretty darn good, turns out to be someone who actually they want to hold on to, because the reason they hold on to Josh McCown, who is the quarterback who remains of those three, is because he just sunk a bunch of money into him, not because he's actually any good.
Bill.
You know, at first glance, this seems brilliant, but I was thinking about something actually Sarah Spain said on the show yesterday, is that what if they had waited? What if they had waited? They got a 3rd-round pick. You said Garoppolo got a 2nd-round pick, right? What if they had waited until some team lost a quarterback, which some team's going to do? Why do they have to make the trade now? Think about that. Why couldn't they? He's not going to get hurt by sitting on the bench. He's still, like you said, a 25-year-old quarterback who could start. He could fetch even a higher draft pick, maybe even a late 1st-rounder if a team gets desperate. I'm just wondering, maybe they should have waited.
Good argument, Bill. It's too bad it was also Sarah's argument.
I said that.
I know, but even so, all right. We got Woody out ahead, perhaps because he mentioned Colorado, but also plenty of logical arguments, Woody. And you brought us cookies. All right. Baby's diapers and trashy takes. Buy or sell is next. That's right, guys. I said baby's diapers.
Those special cookies? Special? You know what I mean?
I just saved hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico. I'm as happy as a clam.
Disclaimer. Geico cannot guarantee you will be, quote, as happy as a clam, unquote. The Geico legal team cannot accurately verify clams even experience the complex human emotional state known as happiness. As an invertebrate mollusk living half submerged on the ocean floor with no arms, legs, or wireless access, what's there to be happy about? A clam's all like, oh, I'm so happy I didn't get turned into New England clam chowder today. Pronounced regionally as chowder. Chowder. Oh, that's so fun to say. What were we talking about again?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Buy or sell.
Adrian Peterson tore into Chris Carter and Shannon Sharp, both of whom suggested the running back's best days are behind him. But give me a second, because the fallout is where it's at. Here's Carter after hearing AD was irked. Did you see me in a Dolphins uniform? I had no business playing that season. Adrian had better get over himself. We were all great, but at the end, we all smelled like a baby's diaper. And here's Peterson. Watching some of the things they said about me, man, it really hurt me to the core. So some of the things that came out of his mouth, not only personally, but about me as a player, he's washed up and this, that, and the other, and he should just retire. How dare you? Bill, are you buying or selling Peterson's sensitivity?
I'm selling it. They're not yelling at him. They're talking about history. In the Washington Post today, they said in the last 50 years, there have been something like 590,000-yard rushing seasons. Only 4 have been accomplished by a runner 33 years or age or older. AP is 33.
Woody.
I'm buying that he said it, but I'm selling that his timing stinks. I mean, why don't you wait till you're doing it in the regular season rather than against the scrubs from the Denver Broncos who aren't any good? And now he wants to say it. I mean, he had one good game that I remember last year with Arizona. So let's see what you can do in the regular season. Then you can call off all of us.
Woody, extra credit points for that chalkboard there. I'm a sucker. I don't know what to tell you. KB, AD, sensitivity, you buying or selling?
I'm buying it because I take it as competitive, the competitiveness in him. I'd also point out that John Riggins ran for back-to-back plus 1,000 yards as a 34 and 35-year-old here in Washington.
Come on.
I would also point out that Adrian Peterson has had about as many rushes in the past 2 years as he had in that unbelievable comeback season he had just before that. So he's got something left.
All right, is that the example that proves the rule, though, Pablo?
Well, I don't think Adrian Peterson has the hogs, KB. I don't think he has the help. And Adrian Peterson, the other troubling part of this, beyond the fact that Chris Carter and Shannon Sharp basically said, look, man, we were washed up too. We get it. Don't have to lie about it. He's sort of trying to summon his social media following to now go and get after all the people on TV who criticize him. Don't do that. It will only make you look more unhinged, man. That's not a good look as a almost 33-year-old to another. Please.
Oh.
Houston's Tyler White went yard in the ninth. delivering the Astros the walk-off win over the A's. White's walk-off homer is the league's 81st this season, which breaks the single-season MLB record with a month still left in the season. Woody, what does this tell you about baseball?
First of all, I still believe, as I did last year, that the ball is juiced, and we've seen more home runs the last 2 years than I remember in my long life. And as anybody who was born in Rhode Island would know, it's mostly based on the fact that the closers this year are so lousy. They're the ones that are in there for the walk-offs, and we're seeing it over and over again everywhere that these closers no longer, they can throw the ball at 95, but it goes past them at 108.
KB.
Well, that's the whole deal, Woody. I mean, relievers these days, they come in to throw what? Heat. And they're throwing it on a straight line. Not everybody can be Mario Rivera and get movement in their fastballs. These guys are not. What happened to the days when you had somebody like Greg Olson who used to throw the yellow hammer, that beautiful breaking ball that would get guys out? Those days are gone, and guys are swinging for the fences.
All right, Pablo.
My favorite Mario Kart character, by the way, was Wariano Rivera, speaking of Mario Rivera. Look, there's randomness in this game, right? Like, I don't know if we can truly say that it's because of launch angle or it's because the ball is juiced, as Woody put it. Both two facts that I agree with. I think sometimes there's just a lot of noise. I'm not sure if we can attribute it to anything beyond just the numbers being kind of unpredictable and working out in baseball's favor.
Bill, what's your favorite Mario Kart character, by the way? You got one?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right, baseball then.
Baseball, thank you. Let's don't distort the truth. They're walk-off home runs because they don't know any other way to walk off. Hitters cannot. They don't single to the opposite field, steal second, bunt to third, sacrifice fly. Nobody does that anymore. All they do is hit home runs. So that's the only way they can end these games. They go forever until somebody hits it out.
Oh, Phil Hughes. Oh, no. The former Yankees pitcher climbed all the way onto the limb in a tweet last night. You guys check this out. He quote tweets his own tweet, tell me your most unpopular opinion. Then instead of saying something true like oatmeal raisin is the best cookie, he says, okay, here's mine. You ready? Beyond the history, Wrigley and Fenway suck. KB, do you sell this opinion?
Well, I buy it from a player. I mean, we're talking about two stadiums here, not from a fan standpoint, but two stadiums that are over 100 years old. I know they've gone under renovations the past several years, but you know what? It's not like the other stadiums in baseball, which are newer, bigger, have more amenities and all that kind of stuff. So from a player standpoint, I understand that sentiment.
Are you going to allow that blasphemy to stand, Pablo?
Well, I don't care that Phil Hughes didn't appreciate the behind-the-scenes experience in the locker rooms at these stadiums. I am somebody who believes that the new Yankee Stadium is truly terrible because the amenities are too good. All that matters with these ballparks is whether the fans are actually a factor in terms of that home field advantage. I believe that Fenway and Wrigley both still qualify as such.
Bill.
He's half right. Wrigley Field is cuddly and cozy. I love Wrigley Field. Fenway Park is cramped and dirty and awful. Fenway Park, and everybody knows it. It's a secret. It's the worst kept secret in baseball. A lot of people feel this way. Bad sight lines, Fenway Park, forget it.
Ooh, Woody.
Let me give you a piece of information. The reason he hates Fenway is he was 3-6 as a starting pitcher with the Yankees there, and he's never pitched in Wrigley Field. He doesn't know anything about Wrigley Field. He's an American League guy. Pay no attention to it.
All right, we got two Goliaths going through. Actually, some Goliaths going home, too. Respect to you, Bill, and you, KB. Woody, Pablo, showdown is next. Woody, Pablo, showdown. Cincinnati, relief pitcher Michael Lorenzen at the plate. He appears to foul bunt a 2-strike pitch. But the plate ump saw it differently, saying Lorenzen attempted to pull back his bat. Lorenzen crushed the next pitch for a 3-run homer. Woody, did the umps get this right?
No, he could cite all the passages he wants to in the rule book, but obviously he was up there to bunt, and he was trying to. The only reason why he didn't bunt is he was about to get hit in the head, so his bat came back.
The problem, Woody, is that the umpires are there to obey the letter of the law, not the spirit of the law. As much as you might be a constitutional scholar of Around the Horn, those umpires know what the rules are. And by the way, did you see the bat flip from that relief pitcher? The dude flipped his bat upon hitting that home run, which I believe we have never seen before in all of baseball history. So, yeah, pretty impressive. And also, you're wrong.
Point Pablo, because unpopular opinion. I thought the umps got that right. Moving on. Point Pablo.
Thank you.
Breaking news out of Flushing. Sloane Stephens won her second-round match. She did so after a 10-minute heat break during which she refueled with the following: sushi and a slushie. I just needed to eat something, she said afterward. Pablo, credit to the sushi or Stephens for the win?
I gotta give credit to Sloane Stephens because I have spent too much time a friend of Tony Reali. I know how fickle strange sushi can be. And I would say that if you were in Flushing, one of the food capitals of the world, you're in Queens, you don't need to rely on random, stale, weird
we're talking
sushi.
about the U.S. Open, and you can eat what you can get there. I mean, your choices are a hot dog and some cotton candy, and she had something that actually was going to help her win, and that was sushi. Don't blame the Pittsburgh airport and Tony Reali on her victory yesterday.
Woody, I believe that you described a circus and not the U.S. Open. I've been there. The food is sophisticated. So, Pablo, with a Tony Reali nod, take the FaceTime.
Thank you, Kate Fagan. Guys, I've missed all of you. And if you're wondering out there and around the Hornland where I've been, turns out that I've been hosting a television show for several months called High Noon, 9 a.m. Pacific. Now, there is a big change coming to High Noon, 9 a.m. Pacific, specifically that we will no longer be on at noon or 9 a.m. Pacific. We will be on at 4 p.m. Eastern on ESPN 1 starting on September the 11th. So please take all of the love and affection you built up for me and Bomani Jones over the years on this program and come join us at 4. Wait around an hour and you'll see all these faces.
Good job. The Goliath is moving to 4:30. Woody,
Please.
I'm gonna go
come back next time. You'll get a win. We're going on a 23-and-a-half-hour break.